You ever read the same sentence 5 times and still have no idea what it says? Like your eyes are moving, but your brain is just buffering? What if the real problem isn't that you're lazy or distracted, but that the way you've been taught to study is actually setting you up to fail? The lie you've been sold about studying. Let's get something straight right off the bat. Studying isn't just hard because of the subject. It's hard because most of us were never actually taught how to do it, like, properly. What we did learn was basically sit down, shut up, reread your notes, highlight some stuff, and pray your short-term memory pulls through. That's not a strategy, that's academic roulette. And yet somehow this approach has survived decades. It's like VHS tapes. Obsolete, but still lurking in people's closets. The weird part, we kind of know it doesn't work. You ever cram for a test, feel like a genius the night before, and then 2 days later you couldn't explain the material if someone offered you $1 million and a pizza? Yeah, same. That's because rereading and highlighting give you the illusion of learning. It feels productive, but what's actually happening is your brain's just recognizing information, not truly understanding or remembering it. It's like recognizing someone at a party but having no idea what their name is or why they're hugging you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's this one ridiculously simple study hack that not only flips the script, but actually makes your brain work with you instead of against you. It's not flashy. It doesn't involve buying a fancy app or color-coding your planner with 12 gel pens, but it does something wild. It forces your brain to do the thing it's supposed to be doing when you study, like actually processing. And the best part? You already know how to do it. You've just probably never used it the way you should. And that's kind of the messed up part. This method has been around forever, hiding in plain sight. It's not a secret technique passed down by monks in the mountains. It's something you've probably done accidentally and never realized how powerful it was. The reason it's not popular? It doesn't look productive. You can't show it off on Instagram. But it works. Quietly, consistently. Like that one friend who doesn't say much but somehow always knows what's going on. The boring trick that actually works. So what is this mysterious, non-Instagrammable method? It's called active recall. And if that sounds like a phrase your high school teacher mumbled once before handing out a pop quiz, don't worry, it's way less scary than it sounds. At its core, active recall is just the act of trying to remember something without looking at the answer. That's it. You're pulling information out of your brain instead of just pushing it in. Simple, right? And ridiculously effective. But for some reason, no one really teaches it as the default way to study. It's like everyone's driving a car with square wheels and thinking, this is fine. Now here's why it works. Your brain is like that gym bro who only grows when there's resistance. The struggle to retrieve information is the workout. When you reread something, you're not working your brain, you're spoon-feeding it. But when you force yourself to recall, your brain goes, oh snap, we need this info to survive, and starts building stronger neural pathways. You're basically hacking your brain's survival instinct to get better grades. Kinda badass, honestly. And you don't need anything fancy to do it. No subscriptions, no aesthetic desk setups. You can do active recall with a blank piece of paper and a pen. Read a chunk of material, close the book, and write down everything you remember. Then go back and see what you missed. That's it. It's not glamorous. It won't get you 1 million views on TikTok, but it will get you a brain that actually remembers things, like even after the test. Which, shocker, is kind of the whole point of learning in the first place. Why struggle is the real secret weapon. A lot of us avoid real studying, not because we're lazy, but because we're scared, like actually scared. Active recall feels uncomfortable, right? You try to remember something and nothing, just blank space. It's frustrating. It makes you feel dumb. But that discomfort, that's not failure. That's your brain literally rewiring itself. You're not broken, you're learning. It just doesn't feel good in the moment, and we're all trained to run away from anything that feels like failure. The traditional study methods, they're comforting, they're safe. You highlight a page, your notes look cute, you feel like you did something. It's like cleaning your room by shoving everything under the bed. Looks fine from a distance, but then the test comes around and the chaos underneath shows. And the worst part is, you blame yourself. Like, I studied, I swear I just suck at this. Nah, you were using a flashlight when you needed a floodlight. The system failed you, not the other way around. Once you realize that, it hits different. You start seeing how often we confuse ease with effectiveness. We chase that short-term feeling of productivity because real growth is awkward and slow and invisible at first. But active recall is one of those rare things in life that's honest. It doesn't fake progress. It just quietly builds something real. And the only thing it asks from you is to be willing to sit in the discomfort and stay. That's the edge most people don't have. Not intelligence, not discipline, just the courage to stay a little uncomfortable. from frustration to power. Here's where things start to flip. Once you stop seeing that discomfort as a red flag and start treating it like a signpost, something weird happens. You start chasing it. Like, instead of avoiding the struggle, you lean into it. You realize that moment when your brain blanks out isn't a failure. It's the moment right before the growth kicks in. It's like when you're working out and your muscles start burning. That burn doesn't mean stop. It means go. And once you make that mental shift, studying stops being this chore you hate and starts feeling like a weird mental gym. You start lifting heavier ideas with less effort. You build cognitive endurance. Most people will never get there, not because they can't, but because they never knew this was even part of the process. School never taught us that. School taught us to play it safe, memorize, regurgitate, repeat. But real learning, it's messy. It's confusing, and yeah, it's a little scary, but so is leveling up in literally anything. Think about it. When have you ever grown in life without some kind of friction? Whether it's relationships, fitness, jobs, growth hurts. But that pain, it means you're doing something right. And once you realize studying can work the same way, it stops being this passive thing and starts feeling personal. That's the twist no one tells you about. The real study hack isn't just active recall, it's your mindset about struggle. That's the cheat code. You stop chasing comfort and start chasing clarity. And clarity doesn't always feel nice. Sometimes it slaps you across the face like, hey, you actually don't know this thing you thought you knew. But that slap, that's the beginning of real understanding. It's not pretty, but it's powerful. And once you feel it for the first time, you kind of get addicted to it. Build the edge nobody can compete with. So what do you actually do with all this? It's simple, but not easy. You build a habit, not around how long you study or how aesthetic your notes look, but around how often you're willing to fail on purpose. You read, you close the book, and you try to recall. And yeah, it'll suck at first. Your brain will throw a tantrum. You'll write 2 sad sentences and be like, wow, I'm cooked. But then you'll do it again. And the next time, you'll remember more. And then more. Until one day you sit down and your brain just starts firing like it's been waiting for this moment the whole time. It doesn't take superhuman discipline. It just takes consistency. You don't need to study for 5 hours a day. You just need short, focused sessions where your brain is actually working. Active recall isn't about grinding longer. It's about grinding smarter. You're no longer just absorbing information. You're building a mental filing system that you can actually use. And over time, that stacks up, not just for tests, but for anything in life that requires thinking, remembering, or making decisions. Which, spoiler alert, is most of life. And here's the real kicker. Once you get good at this, it starts bleeding into everything else. You stop being afraid of things that feel hard. You start seeing challenges as puzzles instead of threats. That's the unmatched edge. Not some fancy hack or productivity trick, but a shift in how you deal with effort. Most people quit when things get uncomfortable, but you leaned in. You made discomfort your training ground, and that's the kind of skill that doesn't just pass a test, it changes who you are. Most people never question the way they study. They just do what everyone else does. Highlight, reread, repeat, then wonder why it never sticks. But the truth is, real learning isn't supposed to feel smooth. It's supposed to challenge you, make you pause, make you think. Active recall doesn't just teach you facts, it teaches you how to wrestle with what you don't know. And that changes everything. You stop being someone who just consumes information and start becoming someone who owns it. It's not glamorous, it won't get you clout, but it will make you sharp in a world that's mostly dull. And the more you train this mindset, the more you realize it's not just about school, it's about how you approach life. Do you avoid discomfort, or do you run straight at it, knowing that's where growth hides? If this hit something in you, if a part of your brain just whispered, wait, this makes sense, don't let that fade. Use it. Try it. One small session. No pressure, no perfection. Just you versus your brain. Round 1. And if this changed the way you see things, there's more where that came from. Stick around. We go deeper here.